sit down.
They laughed at you.
Bro, like that. 7 years old. Hey, one little cat was like, they was like, he said, but I gave him my best. You hear me? I told my daughter. Huh? None of it. I told my daughter, she said, yeah, that was very scary. You feel me? But see, my daughters, you know, we raised them out in the suburbs. You feel me? So it just worked out that way that you didn't have to bully them. You just had to enforce upon them. You feel me? And we enforced upon them to protect them. You know what I'm saying? But boy, oh boy, my daycare kids, I want to protect them. But that, sit down.
Shit don't mean nothing because they going to shit 10 times worse than that at home. My little boy right now over there with his cousin, they bad as fuck. Ranisha, but they great parenting though. But you are like, growing up in that hood, that shit come with it. Bad as fuck. So he getting to see all that. He getting a whole other experience. And he ain't even called his daddy.
Really?
Nope.
Really?
So they either done shook him up or he starting to like it.
For sure.
Boy, don't tell your daddy we over here doing it. I'm telling you now. Or he like it. I ain't gonna tell my daddy what else going on.
Yes, sir.
Cause that's him. Like what these little boys right there doing, that's my son. I had to take it from him.
Yeah. Welcome, sir. Hey.
We on? We live?
We live.
We live right now?
We live right now.
Yeah,
man.
what's poppin'? Thomas Jones in the building. Picking up these pieces, we coming at you about community as well as in home and what it is that we can do to make it better for you and me. Unity is huge. Separation is weakness. Today we're gonna pop it about what is it that teachers can do when it comes to our children that go to school and they're disrespectful. The phone has been taken from them and them beginning to display certain temper tantruments to the point where they're actually touching and being physical with adults. And that reflects back on what we represent with picking up the pieces is what is it that we can do in home as well as community for our children to have a better understanding of not only to respect the teachers, but to respect adults, period. We cut from a cloth where you couldn't even cuss while walking past adults at a bus stop or what have you. Nowadays, our children are cussing right in front of adults. Nowadays, our children are talking back to the students, to the principals, to the resource officer, and so on and so forth. And then with you, shit start young. Yeah. It start young at baby size when we teaching our babies to fight versus what's right, and you catching them at fight. So what? Give us a day in the life at your daycare where you got to deal with mothers that are coming in already just they're really it is a daycare.
Yes.
It is a daycare,
sure.
right?
For sure.
And through daycare, you're supposed to educate them.
Yes, sir.
We're supposed to have compassion for them.
Yes, sir.
We're supposed to cuddle them, love them, so on and so forth. But what they're seeing at home is traumatic. So when you get one of those small babies at such a young age that is actually seen as smacking and the fighting and the cussing and the clocking loud, where the baby's shouting at the daycare.
For sure.
What do you all do about that? Because it's almost like a therapeutic clinician, some types of shit. You know what I mean?
So that's what I'm learning, right? Because I've been full time at the daycare for the past 6 weeks, man. So I'm getting to learn the people. I'm getting to learn the kids. Like I got babies to 10. You feel me? So I got a whole decade like right there in my daycare. You feel me? So me, I come from the approach of peace, right? So I try to give them a different approach. I try to, what's up, my brother? I get personal with the kids. It just ain't little Johnny or whatever. It's what's up, my brother? Hey, my sister. You feel me? Because they are little people. They are little people. You know what I'm saying? So.
Versus what? Like little nigga. What up, little nigga?
No, I mean,
you know what I mean? No, this is real though.
That's what they understand though.
Talking to the kids like that.
Sure.
That's what they understand in their homes.
You know what I mean? And then they begin to grow with that. So you giving them the opposite.
Yes, sir.
You're giving them the righteousness. You're giving them the moral side. You're giving them the character and the integrity of who they are. Because there's a whole other side to that shit. You know what I mean?
And guess what they all do now? Everybody, when I go into class, hit the rock. Everybody come. You feel me?
Greek.
My daughter like that ain't even 2 years old.
Yeah.
She might be in the room doing this because she see her daddy do that. She definitely gonna do that too.
For sure.
Like
For
Torrance
sure.
say, they
For
soak
sure.
up what they see.
For sure, they emulate what they see. You know what I mean? So that's what I don't understand. One side of them, I don't understand what goes on in those homes. You know what I mean?
You know what? I think hey, that piece right there is missing.
Yes, sir.
I think that piece is missing. You just said it. Here it is. They're bringing their children. In your case, is what's the ages?
6 weeks to 10 years old.
6 weeks.
Little Dreamers Child Care, 3410 Warsaw Avenue, right in the heart of Price Hill. More than just babysitters. Come check us out, man. We're gonna take care of your seed. They part of our tribe. I'm hearing you, brother.
Flat out.
For sure.
Flat out. So they're bringing their children, right? But the parents are not being upfront about what took place last night. It was a hell of a fight between mama and daddy last night. It's been screaming. Daddy stayed out.
They
He been
tell you
chirping.
that though, brother?
No.
Oh,
I'll
you
tell
just
you that.
insinuate. You just
Don't
throwing
tell you
stuff
that. I'm giving you an example of what you just said. Like, we don't know. But somehow, some way, because you have to work with this child. This child about to be with you for 8 hours.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
If not longer.
Is that a shift or what have you? So you think that you don't have to deal with the trauma of what took place last night? Where's the peace in that for real coming from the government? Like, give these daycares some bread for real therapeutic therapists that are on site.
It's out there.
To be able to speak with the mother so you can have a better understanding of why the child is lashing out, so on and so forth. I run that shit all the way up to what we're talking about today. What are you supposed to do when your disrespectful child becomes verbally as well as physically aggressive with teachers? And what is the solution, and as well as what is the problem? Because everything starts with the education piece of this, start from daycare to preschool to so on and so forth, because we are literally sending our babies away for a fucking shift. A shift.
Sure.
They actually went to school, if you think about it,
more
more
than
than
they
they
at
with
home.
their parents
For sure.
throughout life.
For sure. For sure.
But what is the package that we're giving them?
So let me
How the parents hold themselves accountable about this shit?
let me say something. From my standpoint with the daycare, and it's just hit me, and I appreciate y'all. First, I gotta get this off my head. Like I don't know y'all when y'all was kids, right? But what I see in you two is, if I knew then what I know now, like that's where y'all at in life. You feel me? Like there's some things that you've done in your past. I like y'all swagger. Like I watch y'all too. You feel me? Like all these podcasts, I've been fanned out by Torrance and Jeff, but now it's having conversations. It's like, oh, now I found my place with these two brothers.
Catching up.
You feel me?
Sounds like you fucking
You feel
catching
me?
up and
So
catching up and keeping
yes, sir.
up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you hear me?
Yeah, well,
So now it's just like, damn, I'm just sitting with my brothers, but I'm watching y'all too. You feel
it's
me?
characters. It's just characters.
But I understand. But these people used to emulate old characters.
Yeah,
Man, look at y'all two
Absolutely.
peaceful black men now. You feel me?
Absolutely.
Look at y'all two motherfuckers. Y'all, come on, man. I was at Winton Woods today, man. Seeing all these old people running and walking. They look like us black people. We are the real ones. You feel me? We are. Like, come on, man. I looked at shadows. I see shadows, right? You feel me? I looked at shadows, right? My shadow just tires over any other shadow on the pavement, brothers. We are the real ones. So, if I knew then what I knew now ties into these people that we got over here today. You feel me?
Break that down though. If I knew then what I know now.
Things that you did in the past, you would never do again, right? Things that what you learned from it. What would you tell your younger self? I guess what is what I'm saying. What would you tell your younger self? But we have the opportunity to tell our younger selves and our children. You feel me?
Or somebody that'll listen.
Or somebody that will listen. Yes, sir.
Now, how's character built without the faults?
There you go. I
So
just left.
what I
Boy,
mean when I say that is
Now
this.
listen.
I don't.
it
all
can
shit
be,
that I had
but
to
it's
do,
been defined
everything
through
that I had to
default,
do, I needed to do that shit.
All of it.
Well, I wouldn't say
man.
needed to do it. It
'Cause
happened and it
crea-
made you a better person, or it's gonna make you
it
fucked up.
creates who you are. It is your DNA. Everything that you have been through, it is part of your DNA and the being of who you are today. Word up. And we can find several different ways to be disappointed within ourselves. So if you try and do that shit, you're gonna fucking go crazy. So with that being said though, trials and tribulations. Lord Jesus. I have been through them and I have seen them all.
Yes,
Right?
sir. Yes, sir.
But we kind of getting off track, but it defines who I am today. Like, word up.
So let me ask you a question.
Hey, look, I can tell you right now, man, I wish that abuse didn't happen.
For sure.
You know, I wish my daddy didn't get killed when I was 4. I wish, you know, mom didn't leave. I wish my brother head wasn't so big, so I wouldn't have to fight and go through that traumatic shit. Because that was trauma. That was trauma. I can run that up away from illegal lifestyle.
So let me ask you a question real quick then.
Yeah.
Because if I knew then what I knew now, what would you tell your younger self or anybody? Little 7-year-old. The little 7-year-old that laughed at me because I don't know what he did, but you probably definitely understand what he's been through. You feel me? What would you tell the little 7-year-old when he just wilding out, don't want to fucking listen? You feel me? What would you tell him? What would you do? Because the yelling didn't help for me, bro.
No, Torrance said it come from home. Like the reality of them kids with them situations who laugh and saying what they saying to you, there's no self-discipline in the home. There's no structure. It might be some to their discretion. You know, because in my household, this is how I'm raised. You don't like it, get the fuck out.
Yes, sir.
Go sit your ass in the corner, go do this and that. Well, you're going to be in the corner for so long, shaking or whatever, all the little weird shit. But that ain't shit. Yeah. And here it is, this nigga over here, so-called telling us to shut up. Right. Well, you know what we hear, shut up, a shoe might come behind shut up. Yeah. A fist might come behind shut up. You know what I'm saying? All that. So we got one over here. I might tap a motherfucker. There's something on social media. I don't know if y'all see it. It's a lady come in. Good morning, class. Good morning. It's a little voice. Oh, yeah. Fuck up. Y'all see? That's easy for us to laugh and relate. Like, hold up. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Hold up. No. They telling him, hold up. No, don't do that. Don't do that. You want to get kicked out? Fuck you, bitch.
Just like that.
Yes.
Get him out of here, snatched him up. But he was ready to fight and say some bullshit if you let him. These are what's in the home.
He been doing that though.
These are what's in the home.
He been doing that though,
and it's a trip because
he did it too.
I could be doing something in the house and I might be like, shit. My daughter say shit. Sure. She go through shit.
For sure.
It's magnetic. Like, it's a sponge.
Yeah.
But when that little boy did it, that's when you said that story, that thought me that little boy. And these was what's going on in some homes. Yeah. What do we tell them? Who is we to tell somebody about how to raise theirs? Verbally sitting up trying to have you able to because you own your own like your own get down, so you can have them conversations with them. But the average person trying to tell somebody about something, they ass gonna get cussed the fuck out.
But you don't tell. Look, you know what? I've been in that industry of assisting and helping adults. I'm coming back to your question too about what do you do when you tell a 7-year-old about what do you tell your previous self, so on and so forth. I'm not gonna forget about that. So, what did you say? I lost my track.
Talking to people like he's able to talk to the parents.
Okay. So when it comes to that, because within our mindsets, within our impoverished area, right? It's not impoverished. It's just poverty for real. Because people can go to work. Our people for real ain't going to work, right? So motherfuckers can have running water, so on and so forth. Running water, food. They can do it even with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kids.
As long as your lights on, you good.
I've seen it before. If they budget and manage right, no loud, blase, skip on down. But within a certain mind state, that certain mind state tells them that you can come and if you gonna come and talk, you can't just come and talk. You gotta come with resources in action for them to bite in any type of way. Sure. You can't come tell somebody whose mind state is kind of poor about just talking. Nigga, you're just talking. You gotta come bearing gifts. You gotta come fronting a product. Don't just come and talk to me about the game and how much money I'm gonna make. You gonna front me something? You know what I mean? And that is the bait game to just going to talk to the people. Don't just go talk to nobody because they done heard this shit in our communities over and over and over again.
Let me tell you where it goes. Let me tell you where it goes. God's so good, or Most High, Heavenly This is thank you. The fish fries, cuz. You feel me? Starting there. You know? Actions. Showing the people, right? Showing the people that you really do care, right? They don't need a whole lot. But I went to the Black Power March last week on my son's 3-year, whatever you want to call it, by him being gone. We had the megaphones. We had the no justice, no peace. We had to stop the violence. We've been shouting for too long. We've been praying for too long. Motherfuckers need to hear something and see something different. Is that what I'm getting from what you saying? They need more than just words. They need action.
No. All that's in the package. All I'm stating is, when it comes to talking to our people,
yes,
and
sir.
they struggling mentally, economically, emotionally, physically, you can't just come talking. You got to come with resources. You have to come with bread. You have to come with solutions because they've heard talk a lot and they're already in a depressive state where they're mentally poor anyway. So they ain't just trying to hear your campaign speech because that's all it is. What you want. What you want. Because, hey, we hungry. And my gas electric bill due tomorrow. Right?
Yesterday.
So when you come to talk to the people, we way off track. When you come to talk to the people, you always come with something. If you ain't coming with shit, don't just be Jehovah Witnessing them. Because they already deal with that shit and they tired of that shit. Right? I want to run that shit back to your older self telling your younger self something. There's a movie called Shawshank Redemption.
That's a good movie.
With Morgan Freeman.
That's a classic.
So when I went to the parole board my third time, all right, I had already seen this movie several times in the cage, literally. Shawshank Redemption. So when he walks in, Morgan Freeman walks in, he sits down after his 5th time going to the parole board. And each time he goes to the parole board, they give him what? 10 years, but not 10 years. How do they say 10 years at the parole board? You're not familiar. And you definitely not. They say 120 months, right? So each time Morgan Freeman went into the parole board to see the people, from a young man they showed him going into the parole board each time, talking that shit like, I'm reformed, I'm better now, I've taken programs, I did this, that, and the third, and bye. Yeah, whatever. 120 months. Bam. 120. That's 10 years. So on like his 6th time, no, not 6th, 4th time, he's in his 60s, his mid to late 60s, right? And he's going in for the last time. And he's seen parole board members go on to be, governors and all type of shit, right? Right? So he sits down and they say the same shit they always say to him, keep up the good work and so on and so forth. Upstanding citizen, you're an upstanding model inmate and so on and so forth. You're like, hey, man, I don't want to hear that shit. Cross his motherfucking legs, Morgan Freeman's. Because let me tell you something, shorty. I was here when your daddy was here. There's nothing you guys can do to me that time hasn't already done. Go ahead and do what you're going to do. If I can go back, and change the mind of that young man that did that shooting that day, I would, but I can't. So I'm going to tell you something. I don't want to waste your time, and I appreciate it if you didn't waste my goddamn time. Come on with what you're going to give me, because time ain't nothing to me no more. But if I could go back and talk to him, I would, but I can't. So there's your answer. You know what the fuck they did? You said you seen it.
Let him out. They
gave him his motherfucking parole.
He wouldn't have got that money.
They gave him his motherfucking parole.
He wouldn't have found that money too.
So if I could go back and talk to him, I would. I told him, I actually repeated that statement to get my 18 months and out date. I think it was coming anyway because the laws had changed. But if I could go back and tell him this, that, and the third, what I'm gonna go back and tell him? Like, hey man, they police. They not robbery boys. Fuck you want. But then I gotta go back and tell this other nigga too. Like, hey, he wasn't worth doing that. Putting holes in him. Then I gotta go back again. When does the fucking go back? Stop. It is who we are and what we are in the very essence of what we gonna be from our times that we've been through, right?
So I look at it in a different manner. Right?
Absolutely.
I look at it from the standpoint of cycles, right? So he sleep. He brought his grandsons with him today. You feel me? So you know, before we got on camera, you know all the nature of your grandsons. You feel me? Yeah. When you was telling your grandson, dude, you showing pretty much. I'm ad-libbing. Dude, you showing your hand a little too much. You feel me? I see you because they are you. Even though they got a daddy and they got a mama, they are still an extension of you. It's like any tree with branches and everything. You feel me? They are a branch of you. So you telling them and telling him to straighten himself up, it's kind of, to me, like you telling your younger self. Because you are the OG. You have survived all that shit that you've been through.
Boom.
You feel me?
Boom. If I'm telling them how to be when I was their age, that wraps right around into, hey, there wasn't no such thing as cussing out the teacher. Wasn't no, because back when we were in school,
you gotta go home and answer your mama.
Before that, no, it's something else. It's instant. It's
go to the office and get swat.
It's instant. It's instant. Automatic action. Automatic action for automatic reaction for your action. Right then and there.
That's over with.
No, all I'm stating is back then though, in order for you to take a swat, guess what you gotta have? Respect for the teacher. You gotta have the respect to be like,
fight the teacher.
To be like,
yeah.
Because when the teacher said, you know what, Jeffrey, in the hallway and hands on the wall, you did it. So when you say go back, we did it. Yeah. Yes, I want them to go back to our way of thinking, to my way of thinking, as far as respect. Because you went out there, you got your hands right on that ball.
Yeah.
And you took that shit. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, we're going to have to do it again. Because this is the second time I talked to you about that.
Special paddles.
And they doing it. The kids, we did it.
What they doing now, Tor?
Now
What they doing now?
What you mean? Better not say nothing about no violent situation, period. Talking about go out in the hall. No, you coming out in the hall, Missy.
We go catch
you coming out in the hall, Missy. The students are grabbing the teacher by their heads, socking them, and dragging their ass in the hall. Where are we? What the fuck happened
the roles
in
got,
the time frame?
The roles got reversed. Like
all right,
children.
So we know that.
So what the fuck do we do now?
Now, there we go. Some answers.
Because you still wiser than them.
Now, what do we do? What do you do to keep your son you? What do you do? What have you done to keep your son adherent to being mindful and respectful? What do you do with your grandchildren or your children right now today to keep them from being mindful and respectful? Because we got a whole community of individuals within home and community where their children are fucking off the chain. What is the answer to how is it that my two grandsons could sit over there and be calm, be quiet, and relax and chill?
Yes, sir.
What is the secret to the sauce to keep our teachers encouraged?
For sure.
To keep our teachers from feeling like all is lost. Shit, let these little motherfuckers do what they want to do. The parents ain't giving me no goddamn help. What is our secret to our children being mindful and respectful where our teachers can get back to teaching versus all day keeping children in check?
Well, my daughter, she do one-on-ones with them. She get to know them. She don't really befriend them, but she hear. You got to keep in mind, people when they dropping their kids off or the kids however they get into school, they're bringing whatever coming from home to school. Anybody that with the knowledge or common sense can see in kids they got something going on if something happens. Like he said, not just in daycare, they need to have them. You know, when you go to the office, you got to have some psychs. Not just a principal, you got to have certain things set up because these kids ain't listening. My daughter know how to get on day level. You know what I'm saying? And hear them. I'm not going to get deep into it, but you got to keep in mind, in the corporate world, people are like, it's like a fucking union. And if we don't like you, and you ain't a part of this, you ain't going to be here. Sometimes it don't be about the fucking kids. So it start with home. You can take them, drop them off to a day shift or 8 hours or whatever, but that shit start with home. And I'm telling you this from my daughter being a teacher and me dealing with my son, because my son go to a good school, some bad kids there. Shit, last time a month ago they had right before school let out, they put the little shit across the radio on the news and everything. Well, my son, the school he was at, they just happened to be on lockdown because kids was cutting up, talking about they gonna shoot guns and all that shit. So they locked it down.
Yes.
Didn't nothing happen, but the shit goes on.
Fair to 'em, too.
But it's all start with home. You bringing a problem to me, and I ain't getting paid enough to teach this problem what's going on.
Remember we talked about, we had a conversation about racism?
Yes, sir.
All that shit is taught at home. So now your child, your poet, because you living in our community for one, but you're teaching your child racism. So now your child is going to school with a bunch of black kids.
Yeah.
But he's being taught at home racism. And it just so happens his teacher happens to be black too. Right back to what you're saying. Whatever it is that's holding our babies back, that's making them go off into a character flaw, is actually beginning within the home. And people want to say, and
What the
and
fuck
you know
does
what?
school teach you though?
But hold on.
Explain that to me.
But hold on, but before we get
Explain
there,
something to me about school and what the
you know
fuck
that you
do
can
it
do
teach
everything right? Everything right, a good home and so on and so forth. With the society that we live in, our children will still go the wrong way.
Them are choices though, Torrance.
No, everything
And then you're
is-
being enabled. You're a follower. Like I'm raising leaders now. If you want to go follow what I still in my kids, think about what your dad will think when you go out there and do whatever. Because you're gonna have
You
that
don't do what
idea.
everybody else gonna do for
Yeah,
real.
just at the end of the day, think about some of these talks we have. Do
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah.
Go do it, because if that's what you want to be enabled to do, you want to be tricked off.
Yeah.
I got my son 22. When we was living back in like 04,
No, how does your
05,
youngest son though?
He 13.
How old is he?
No, he 13, but he did. That's what he do. He on the phone and he good. He hit hard, but you wouldn't know that. He more laid back, but you wouldn't like you would think he a buster. And if you one of them little hard knucklehead kids, you might try him, and you might get over on him a little bit. But when I'm feeling and seeing certain shit, now we got to see that situation,
Yeah, for sure.
because you're not finna be coming home laying up with me like this. No. I might catch butterflies as me and you got to meet outside and fight right now, but I'm going to go fight your motherfucking ass. This is human nature. Spence and Crawford finna fight next month. I guarantee they got something going on in their stomach. And these is professional fighters. Want to get at each other, but I guarantee they feeling something in their inner. This is just a reality.
What did I tell you yesterday,
Right,
cuz?
right.
I run. You feel
But
me?
that ain't the
you
good-
can't run from
No,
it.
you gotta
face that shit,
Hell,
right?
Run from what? Run from what?
Pressure.
Hey, but in your process, how your children respect you at home is how they for real run that shit right back to the schools and
For sure.
daycares.
For sure.
For real, man.
Sure.
I don't care what nobody say. No matter what, in the developmental stages,
Which one
before
you say, the boy or girl? Because I think different, because sometimes they be held back so long they can't wait to get away from that shit to go be.
So my
Oh,
daughter
yeah,
did
yeah,
that.
yeah,
My
yeah,
daughter
yeah.
was like that
Yeah.
though. Hey, my daughter was like that. Hey, look, when she got a
Set your
chance to
ass down
say,
the hallway.
make her own
Yeah,
decisions.
yeah.
Hey, once she got a chance to make her own decisions,
Yeah.
it was up.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I'm from up under. Somebody's